Welcome back to Where is the Money? So the money is still not with the federal workers. So the government shutdown is still going. They're still fighting back and forth to figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, Trump has given the green light to terminate and furlough more federal workers. I think 4,000 this time. And yeah, let's get a little insight on what that looks like.
As new tariffs take effect today, a new report finds Americans, at least for now, are absorbing the majority of the extra costs. According to Goldman Sachs, U.S. consumers will absorb 55% of tariff costs by the end of the year. American businesses, just 22%. Foreign exporters, 18%. New tariffs take effect today on kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, upholstered furniture, and lumber. The White House insists tariffs will have major economic benefits in the long term. Meanwhile, as the federal government shutdown enters its third week, the Treasury Secretary says the economy is starting to feel the effects.
This is getting serious. It's starting to affect the real economy. We are having to hold back on some payments so that the brave men and women in the U.S. military can get paid.
Democrats are demanding Obamacare subsidies be extended to keep healthcare costs from rising, but the House Speaker says he won't negotiate until Democrats agree to reopen the government.
We're barreling toward one of the longest shutdowns in American history.
The American people want us to reopen the government. They want bipartisan negotiations, and they want the Congress to address the healthcare crisis that is devastating them.
Millions of federal workers have now received their final paycheck, and the Trump administration has fired more than 4,000 federal workers, including many inside the Department of Education.
Now, this time is a little different because he added more guidance to say that these government federal workers are likely not going to get back pay even when the shutdown is over, just to stick it to the Democrats. Is that intentional or is that just an oversight?
So I just heard something crazy and I was just speechless. Just speechless. And once I got over that, because I know when I have that feeling, I need to say something about it. But this motherfucker, dear leader, said that when the government opens back up, these federal employees that have still been going to work for no pay, they might not even get back paid. They might not get paid for their work. If you are a government employee and you are going to work with no pay, stop. Stop. Why are you doing that? They're not going to pay you for your work. And we're in crisis mode here, and you still have bills, and you're still going to work, and they're telling you they're not going to pay you? The fuck? It's time for a general. It's time for a general. All this needs to stop. That is insane to me. The caucasity. Okay, bye.
Now, it's crazy to think in this economic climate, going to work every day and still not getting paid and not getting back pay. Now, some are still required to show up to work every day, even though they're not getting paid. Some are furloughed, they're not working, and they're likely not getting back pay either. Either way, it's not a good situation.
As the government shutdown drags on, thousands of federal workers in Maryland are trying to figure out how to get by without a paycheck. Banks and creditors have some relief options, but you have to ask, and you want to do it before you fall behind.
Hopefully down the road I will get paid. Like I said, it could be a month. I just make sacrifices.
This Social Security Administration employee asked to remain anonymous due to concerns about losing his job. He said he received a paycheck last Friday, but that could be the last for a while.
If this continues, yes, it'd be zeros going forward till and then they've also been talking about maybe not giving the back pay. So who knows?
Now, you would think a person like an air traffic controller would be the top priority of our government to make sure our planes, stay in the air and make sure everyone's safe. But apparently they're cutting even those jobs, along with a lot of other important, crucial jobs to the governmental infrastructure of this country.
I'm an air traffic controller who's not getting paid right now during this government shutdown, and things could be getting a lot worse for us very soon. Because Donald Trump is threatening to not give guaranteed back pay to federal employees who were furloughed during the shutdown. Multiple news sources have reported on this. It's very likely to happen, and in fact, OMB has already deleted a reference to the law guaranteeing that back pay from their guidance for the shutdown. And just for a little bit of context, air traffic controllers are essential employees. We have to continue showing up during the shutdown even though we're not getting paid. With that said, we're not furloughed because we have to keep coming into work. But paid leave doesn't exist during a government shutdown. So if we put in annual leave, our version of PTO, or sick leave, which is normally paid, it can't be entered that way. It has to be converted to furlough, and previously the law stated that furlough would all get back paid guaranteed. Now, not guaranteeing that back pay creates a few issues. First of all, air traffic controllers, we request our time off a year in advance. Every year at the end of the year, right around this time or the next month or two, we request all of our leave that we're gonna get for the next year. So we have to plan a whole year in advance. So I have a guy at my facility right now who is on his leave for a week. He's got a vacation that he scheduled a year ago. And now Donald Trump is saying, we're not gonna pay you back, even though he had no clue a year ago that the government was gonna be shut down. And even if it did, he was guaranteed back pay. Now he's saying, we will not give you any money during this time, even though annual leave and paid time off is a benefit that we agreed to give you. We're not gonna pay it out. What's interesting about this order from President Trump is that it very likely violates GEFTA, which is the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act that was signed in 2019. Which is interesting because Donald Trump was president in 2019 and signed this into law. And it's also interesting that it was signed in 2019 because that happened after the December 2018 to January 2019 35-day government shutdown, the longest in our country's history, also caused by Donald Trump. So the shutdown that he caused in 2018 led to this law that he signed in 2019 that he is now ignoring in 2025.
So this person is saying safety is not an issue, even though they're cutting and reducing the workforce. If it gets too busy, they'll slow it down, which I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in that statement, considering already before the cuts, it's already been some situations where air traffic controllers are being overworked and having difficulty keeping staff before this. So call me paranoid. This does not give me confidence in flying at all right now. Now, say for example, you're already a federal worker and you've been laid off. What does that look like finding a job in this economy? We know, even with the reports, the economy is not the best. Some would say downright terrible to try to find a job right now. And as a government worker with tons of experience and education, how difficult is it to find another job in this economy?
I lost my job over 8 months ago due to the Trump administration. Please do not argue with me on this. They publicly take credit for it, for getting rid of government adjacent jobs. Okay, this is not an opinion, this is just a fact. I lost my job because of that. I talked about it a little bit on here, but the past couple months I have been deep in the interview process with 3 different organizations. Made it to the final rounds for all of them, which is great, but I did just receive 2 rejections, which sucks. It sucks. I have a lot of thoughts on this, so figured I'd share in case this is helpful to anyone else. Immediate micro sense, it's devastating. The elephant in the room is finances. Every rejection feels like a step farther and farther away from financial security, one day financial freedom. There's so much fear and worry that can literally overwhelm you. It's also hard not to get attached to these jobs as you are putting so much time into case studies, the multiple panel interviews, and doing everything you can to envision yourself in the role in the hopes that you'll get it. Not being able to do work that you are genuinely passionate about. All of the personal things that are riding on it. Like for me, I would have been able to move back to DC with one of these jobs. That's where so much of my life is. When you get those rejections, there's so much in the immediate that can feel overwhelming.
Yeah, so 6 months laid off, still having difficulty finding a job, still having difficulty maintaining the normal quality of life that she's accustomed to without the job. So where do we go from here? The shutdown is still going, they're still going back and forth, and these people are still not going to get paid. Do you agree with this decision from the administration, or do you feel like this is a tragedy that the workers are caught up in all of this and now they're suffering while they fight it out? You tell me. Put your comments below. Let's talk about it. This is Where is the Money? Talk to you soon.